What's up, friends? Welcome back to my show. We got to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. Oh, you know that I am a Candiace fan, and I'm so embarrassed. I don't even want to show my face right now. Just go ahead and drop the doggone beat. So we are back and we're talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac. This week was episode 13, I believe, and it was GVO or GTFO. And let me just say, I'm so embarrassed. I think I may just do the review like this week. Because I know that I have stand Candiace in the past, but she has embarrassed me. Oh my God. A whole bunch of tossed salad. Sea bass and tossed salad. Sea bass and a side of tossed salads. Okay, I'm just gonna stop being petty. Okay. Let me just suck it up. Okay, I am a Candiace fan, of course, but let me just be honest. There's some things we got to talk about this week. My thoughts, so many thoughts that I have. One, we got to see a little bit more of G. I'm just have to call him Granddaddy. Granddaddy G. We got to see a lot of Granddaddy G. And I'm calling him Granddaddy G because he is somebody's granddaddy for sure. And if he ain't the epitome of old man, then I don't know who is. I mean, you know, old people, when you get old, you just say anything that you want to say. You don't have no tact about yourself. Anything that comes to your mind, you spill it, you say it. You don't care who feelings hurt or who's listening. When that man walked through the door and was so drunk and got so drunk and then showed his tail, even coming through the door talking about where's the valet and who gonna get his bags out the car, I was like, this man is off the chain. But to take it a step further, we got introduced to Skylar's husband. Not necessarily introduced, but we did see him on camera. He doesn't seem like he's much of a talker, which I think tends to be a good thing with the husband. Because G was definitely giving me some Peter Thomas, and then he was giving me a little bit of like a black Michael, because he definitely seemed like a pervert of some sort. But this man was just saying anything that he wanted to say. But when he walked through the door and Dre walked through the door and he said, who the F is that? I'm like, Lord have mercy. Get your granddaddy. Please get your granddaddy. You know, yes, I am very disappointed in my girl. I did feel like, you know, this week she went a little bit too low. The words are not coming out. They're not flowing. So let's just go through the episode real quick and not spend too much time on the small stuff, because if you watch the episode, you already know where it got jumped off and how it got jumped off and who jumped it off. So the episode opens up and we got Granddaddy and we got Mia. And they are talking about, you know, leaving the kids for the first time ever with Mama Mia. But, you know, Mia does still talk about Candiace, and, you know, she brings the whole thing up to G again about the comment that she said about how, you know, that Candiace stuff was low budget. Mia knew what she was doing when she called Candiace's video low budget. She want to act like it was all innocent and whatnot, but it was not. We gonna call it what it is. We gonna call shade, okay? We gonna call it spade a spade. We gonna call shade. You don't come for a person's craft, okay? Like Erykah Badu said, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my So I do think that Candiace took it personally when Mia wanted to come after, you know, her video. Moving right along, let's talk about forehead. You know, this seemed to be a episode where she would just go on to everybody's house. She showed up at Robin's house with the baby, of course, because, you know, the nanny is only for one child. So she took the baby, I believe, was it Phil or Leo? Dylan. Of course, the conversation comes up because Ashley couldn't help but to bring up her favorite subject, Candiace. Of course, they talk about how Candiace went at Mia and Candiace was on 10 when she came through the door. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that, you know, she handled Mia appropriately. Of course, Robin and Ashley bring up the conversation surrounding the couples trip, and they talk about how Giselle sent messages to the whole group in their group chat, which they say the group chat name is the Flossie Posse, which of course you know is a nod to the Girls Trip movie with Jada Pinkett and Queen Latifah, which I love the movie. But, you know, they talk about how Giselle says that she will not be attending the trip because, you know, she did not appreciate the way that her invitation was delivered. And, of course, you know, Robin gonna ride the same train as Batman, so she not going either. Which I thought was funny to myself because I'm thinking, y'all know good and well y'all going on that trip because, for one, I'm sure you would get docked in pay. For not going on the cash trip, and for two, nobody is going to be sitting there following you around, Robin, while you cutting your kids' toenails, and Giselle sitting there walking around her kitchen and getting her dry hair dehydrated by that cow that she need to fire. I mean, how much more can we take of that? Either y'all going to be absent from the episode, or you gonna take a cut and pay, but we know at the end of the day you are going on the trip, so just cut it out. Of course, Ashley says that she wants the two of them there. She doesn't want to be by herself. I will mention some of the stuff that Robin was saying this episode really irritated me. I mean, if it ain't the pot calling the kettle black. One point she said, you know, Candiace likes to play dirty. Girl, as if you and your bestie don't play dirty all the time. And then it's just this whole gaslighting Wendy, where she keeps saying that Wendy doesn't like her. Wendy has never said or acted as if she didn't like you, Robin, and you talking about you can't say nothing without her getting mad. It's because of the stuff that you're saying, girl. Like, stop it. Like, it's really irritating me that she keeps playing victim. I'm always gonna give you what you give me. I'm gonna match your same energy, and I think that's what, you know, Wendy is giving her. So just stop it. Stop the card about, you know, Wendy don't like you. Wendy ain't never acted like she didn't like you. You want to have beef with Wendy all because Giselle has beef with Wendy. So just stop, girl. I mean, at this point it's a little bit pathetic. I keep waiting for you to get your own mind, and you ain't got it yet. Call me when you find your mind. Of course, they show Wendy and Eddie getting ready for the trip, and, you know, they just discuss who's coming and who's not. Allegedly, who's not. And another reason I really had to roll my eyes at Batman and Robin when they said they weren't going on the trip is, you know, they always play the same card acting like they ain't go somewhere, but guess what? They bags, they luggage be right there with them packed. It was the same thing during season 3 when Monique invited them for her birthday trip to France or whatever. And, you know, they were trying to act, you know, big and bad like they wasn't going to go. Oh, you know, I ain't going to go. I'm going to think about it. You know, guess where they was? Right there in France. Michael, you know, so Karen and Ashley, they're riding together down to the couples trip. Ashley says that Michael is not coming on the couples trip. And, you know, they kind of alluded to the fact that he didn't want to come on the trip because he didn't like the Bassetts. But I think that's fine, you know, because the Bassetts equally do not like Michael. And, you know, I think the real reason Michael didn't come on the trip is because nobody likes him and nobody wanted him there, including us fans at home. And then the broke Bill Gates, I mean, the black Bill Gates, he says he's going to come down the next day. So he's not going, you know. He said he needed more time. What y'all think that Ray be doing at that house by himself when Karen gone? Because what was you really doing? Why you got to come down the next day? I think Ray wanted to be at home and get a little break from Karen, you know. So getting down to the other half of the episode, Wendy and Idris arrive at the vacation home. They take a look around. Very nice home. And they say, you know, Wendy throw a little shade. She said that, you know, it's enough rooms for everybody to be under the same roof. It ain't no guest houses. It ain't no cottages. Everybody gonna be under the same roof. You know, they might just have to, you know, double up. Mia and Granddaddy are the first couple to arrive. Like I said, he come in already on, like Candace said later on in the episode, he come in on 25. He is on 25 already. Wendy lets us know that the theme for the weekend is GVO. And I kept waiting. I was like, what does that mean? You know, and then she says, good vibes only. So this is a good vibes only weekend for the couples trip. So we have Wendy, Idris, Granddaddy, and Mia together. And surprisingly, Mia chooses to share with Wendy, you know, the past, you know, about her mom's past. And so that kind of, you know, gives Wendy an idea about why Mia was so upset with the "your mama" comment that Candace made. Candace and Chris arrived next, and let me just say, my girl seemed as though she was pumped. And this is where my disappointment comes in, because I think that her attitude was jacked from the start when she came through the door. Of course, you know, she was trying to be all friendly and, you know, seemed like she had a good vibe. But it turned a little sour and a little distasteful, in my opinion. Just some of the stuff, it seemed like she was taking digs at Mia and Granddaddy. I mean, even asking Granddaddy or making the comment that Granddaddy's stuff don't work. I mean, it probably don't, or he need a little help with it. But that ain't none of your business, Candace. So I was kind of like, oh, Lord, she is really coming. So Skylar and her husband, Dre, come in, of course. Like I said, Dre is very soft-spoken. He doesn't seem like he's the type, you know, to get anything popping. But Skylar and Candace go up to the room, and they are talking about, Skylar said, Captain Save-A-Ho, who you know is Mia. So they talk about Mia, you know, just all of the drama and how, you know, Candace didn't appreciate her, talking to her mother. You know, Candace is still bitter about it. Wendy kind of enters the room, and she's like, what are y'all talking about? And then Mia comes in, and Candace addresses Mia, and Mia addresses her. And honey, it got popped off. Let me just say, it did seem like Candace and Skylar kind of ganged up on Mia. But I think one thing that was irritating with this whole thing was the whole thing that Mia just starts off like, well, trying to justify her asking, you know, Mama Dorothy about Candace's business. She says, well, I'm a CEO, and that's just how I'm trained, you know. When I come in, I like to assess the situation. That's the first thing that I do. And so, you know, I was talking to Mama Dorothy because I wanted to, you know, learn from her. And, you know, she's done a good job in how she smothered you, and I aspire to be with her like her one day, you know. So Skylar's like, why every time we talk about something, you're bringing up business? Perfect question. We don't always need to talk about business. I'm sick of it. And I'm wondering why we aren't giving the same energy that we gave to Wendy last year when it was her first season, when people were constantly, you know, aggravated with her and annoyed that she kept on bringing up her 4 degrees. I mean, let's get the same energy to Mia. Because at this point, I am sick and tired of her, you know, talking about her businesses and talking about, I'm a boss, 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 I'm a boss. I'm sick of it. In the middle of fighting with Candace, Mia answers a phone call, who she says is one of her good friends, and she get on the phone and starts to walk away, and she says, you know what, I'm going to talk to my rich friends. Yeah, I don't have time to deal with these broke bees. So you know that set Candiace off and that set a scholar off. So we take it on down backstairs. Karen and Ashley have arrived, and you know, Wendy takes the opportunity to, you know, be a hostess and welcome everybody. She gives everyone gift baskets. And what was in the gift basket? That 1 wick candle. So Wendy wants to talk about room assignments. And when I say my girl was so justified in the way that she wanted to assign them rooms, she says that Karen and the scholar will have first pick. Why? Because they were the cottage crew. They were the ones that were sent to the cottage. So you know firsthand, Candiace recognizes that, you know, this is some, not necessarily payback, but it is kind of shade to how she did her whole trip in Williamsburg by having those 3 girls out there in the cottage. So then next, after a scholar and Karen, Ashley is allowed to pick a room. And Wendy says, you know, Ashley is next only because she realizes that, you know, she probably went through a lot to, you know, get there and be a part of the trip. So then after that, Mia and Granddaddy can pick their room. And then Candiace is the last person to pick her room. And then, of course, Wendy says if Robin and Batman come, then you know they can pick whatever is left. And so anyway, just getting to the last part of this drama, Mia is talking to Ashley, and she's talking to Ashley trying to be quiet, but it was kind of one of them things like, you know how you talk about somebody, but you know that they standing right there, and you know that they probably hear you. It was one of those things that she was doing. And so, you know, Candiace cut in, was like, I can hear you talking about me. I hear you talking about me. I'm right here. And I think Candiace was probably, you know, most likely annoyed that Mia was talking about her, and not only just talking to her, but talking to her sworn enemy. You know, talking about her to her sworn enemy, Ashley. She was talking to Ashley, of all people, about her. Like she was about to team up with Ashley. You know Ashley. Ashley always gonna side with the next person. Anybody against Candiace, you know, she's on your team. No matter what it is. But that just set everything off. And then let me just say, I had flashbacks again. This is the part where I got disappointed because it just... Candiace got out of control. I wish that she was able to be the articulated assassin and remain controlled. And that's one of the things that I hate, and it's one of the things that I can't defend her about, because we got to stop being, you know, so emotional and control ourselves. I mean, it gets to the point sometimes you see on the preview for next week, Chris can't even control her. Her husband can't even control her. So I think, you know, that is why, you know, I had to hide my face and I'm embarrassed, because she clearly showed her behind. And then what made it worse is it seemed like this is deja vu. Because I was like, please do not let this be another, you know, wine at the wine tour or whatever that they did, you know, when the fight went down last season, because it was the same scenario. Argument that was escalating, and you had the hands, and Mia has her hands in Candiace's face. Candiace is like, get your hands out my face. You know, the same thing that was going on with Monique, when Monique was like telling Candiace to get her hands out her face. And then, you know, you just see Candiace getting so aggravated. And Mia seemed to be Candiace in the situation, because she was just you know, doing all of that, like, you know, kind of antagonizing her the same way that Candiace antagonized Monique, you know, when she was doing her twirling and stuff in the wine barn or whatever. Candiace, all that we went through last year, all the times I defended you, all the tissues we done folded up together and, you know, did origami with, you know, you embarrassed me. Why are we in the same spot? We have to mature. Did you learn nothing from the fight last season? But even Candiace, come on now. That's why I say seabass with a side of a tossed salad. Candiace picked up that lettuce first. She picked up that lettuce and she tossed it at Mia. Mia came back, she tossed some lettuce. And then Candiace picked up the lettuce and she had to go all out with it. Once again, I'm sick and tired as a big girl of these bees wasting food. Okay? I do not appreciate salad being on the floor. Okay? Let's throw something else. Let's throw some paper. Let's throw, you know, some water. Let's throw, you know, anything besides food. Why are we throwing food? I mean, food fight. How childish. Come on, Candiace, you started that. Okay. Anyway, I'm so embarrassed. I just don't even want to go on talking about this anymore. I don't get a lot of engagement in the comments, but I'm thinking about just turning my comments off completely on this video because I just don't want to hear none of, you know, the people who know that I'm a Candiace fan. I mean, one of my friends was texting me about it and I just had to stop texting her because she was irritating me talking about Candiace, and I couldn't defend Candiace in the right way because Candiace was all the way in the wrong. That was the episode. I'll see you back here next week. As always, don't do anything that you're going to have to explain because you know your girl Chrissy explains it all. Peace.